This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow Manchild, Johnny Karlic.
Who we can do.
You did that because of what we were talking about on Friday, didn't you?
No, I just thought about doing it.
Okay, because on Friday, before we saw How to Train Your Dragon 3, The Hidden World, which our review should be up by now.
3 million.
Yeah, 3 million, as he's holding up a 2. But we were making fun of the, or not making fun of, but we were referencing Mr. Meeseeks in a Taco Bell.
Yes.
And Johnny was almost going to bring attention to ourselves by standing on the table and going, "I'm Mr. Meeseeks, look at me.
Look at me, I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Ooh wee."
And I didn't want that attention
No, he didn't.
on me. Did you just go into a schmeagle there?
No, he didn't.
You just went right
That's
into...
Smee, by the way.
Oh, Smee.
Mr. Smee.
I'm thinking Lord of the Rings.
Precious.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Schmeagle, which I also put an H in for some reason. Like I also put an L in Helmsworth when it's Hemsworth, Johnny.
Yes.
But I say Helmsworth because,
For some reason.
because I'm a dork and I'm an idiot. But this is the Rick and Johnny podcast.
Didn't know he was a sailor.
Our podcast where we talk about entertainment, movies, TV, comic books. Well, a little bit comic books. We're not a graphic conversation, but we do hit some comics.
talk about it a little
Superheroes, Marvel, DC, basically anything under the two nerdy suns is what we are looking at. And Johnny, we got a jam-packed show. Before I get into that, make sure to check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. That is how you help support us. We cannot do what we do each and every week without the help of our patrons, and we thank them for their support each and every month. You can join a podcast if you support us at the $10 tier. Check that out in the description down below. But Johnny, jam-packed show because I came in with 3 topics. Well, actually 4. And I was like, Johnny, 2 of them are MCU. Pick 2 of them. And I knew you couldn't.
No, I can't.
Like that's like picking who's your favorite child. Am I right? Like, that's like picking who's the favorite child.
Some families don't have a problem with that.
But you do, and you didn't want to give preferential treatment to one of them. So we've got 4 topics today. A jam-packed show in the sense of the word, if there ever was one. We're talking about X-Men. Could they get their own series, however the plural to series is, the surls. Basically, will they get a series on Disney+. Then we're going to dive into some Star Wars. Obi-Wan Kenobi is getting his own Disney+ series. We're going to dive into what the story could be for that. Then we're going to take MCU Phase 4 and basically just predict the complete schedule. We know half of it, kind of. Johnny and I are going to complete the second half and predict what we think the Phase 4 schedule will be. Then we're going to end the show looking at some news from the Netflix world. Chris Hemsworth, said his name right this time, Thor of the Avengers. He's going to play Hulk Hogan in a biopic. And Johnny and I are going to talk about, is that a good idea? So, jam-packed show. Hope you guys stay along for it if you're on podcast services around the world. But Johnny, let's jump into the first one. This one's kind of, it's not like, oh, this is pressing news, but it just got popped into my head as I was watching YouTube videos on YouTube, and I heard one of the videos go, oh, well, the X-Men, like, they might not even, like, yeah, there's movies, but there could be Disney Plus series as well, because there's so many X-Men characters that Disney can use once they get those from Fox. And right now, what we're sitting at is, so the Disney Fox deal should be done by the beginning of summer. They're saying like June. That means by the end of this year is the earliest that Kevin Feige and company can start developing these movies, these TV series for the streaming service. And they can't even talk about anything until this deal is done. I'm going to just come right at you out of the gates. No beating around the bush. What is a X-Men character? If I were to ask you, X-Men character that you think should get their own series on Disney Plus, what are you hitting me with?
Is my first answer really going to be a surprise to you? You probably already know what it is.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Like an alternate story, like World War II Wolverine.
Let's take away my bias on Wolverine
Yeah.
because number one,
Your favorite hero.
yeah, it's my favorite. There's so much storyline. You could probably have seasons of storylines if you play your cards right.
Yeah.
And don't just like montage the whole thing like Wolverine, the first movie, did.
Well, and I mean, with Wolverine, you could tell, like, I look at, what about if you told a story about, like, you mentioned, I think the last time we talked about Wolverine and who should play him in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
If you did one where it's like, okay, this is Wolverine during World War II, maybe tie in the Howling Commandos.
Tying the Howling
in some
Commandos,
way.
tying Captain
Hell,
America.
You could do an Alpha Flight movie then, could you not?
You could do an Alpha Flight like season.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a Weapon X season. You can do a that's the World War II one.
Mm-hmm.
You can do like an Origins season and do like from childhood. I wouldn't say from birth, from childhood
Mm-hmm.
up till World War II, and just do his whole because. He's born in the comics. He's born in 1836, if I remember correctly,
Mm-hmm.
up until modern day. So you have all that time to actually like do stuff with him.
Because I'm also looking with the Loki TV series.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that one's supposed to be 8 episodes, correct?
Yeah. I think that's what you said last.
And this
time.
is something that I totally didn't think about before I asked you the character.
Yeah.
They don't have to be long episodes. Like
They
the
don't.
Obi-Wan one that we're going to talk about is only going to be 6 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you could do one where it's like, hey, we're going to tell this little kind of succinct, maybe condensed story. That's the word I'm looking for. Condensed story, 6 episodes and we're done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not a huge time investment. It's going to be a great story, character that you
But
like.
I'm saying you can like if they wanted to, they can make it multiple seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can do a series about like this chunk in time, and then this chunk of his time, and this chunk of his time because he was around. Like I said, he's been around since 1836. Whereas just like the Loki one, you can do just little spurts, do 8 episodes the season. But with Loki, like. You have so much of history to work with because we talked, what was it last week? He has like 11. We got like from the 1100s.
Yeah.
He can like, they could potentially start it.
Yeah. And I mean, with me, Wolverine, I'll be honest, was not expecting to come out of the gates with Wolverine.
So quickly?
Well, like, the thing with that is, because think about the TV series for MCU that we know about, Scarlet Witch and Loki.
Yeah.
Loki's done in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Scarlet Witch, let's be honest, her and Vision, I'm assuming after Endgame, done in the movies. Unless we like tie her into X-Men somehow.
Maybe, but Vision, and this will go more into our topic for later.
Yeah.
Is part of the lineup for the new Avengers. So.
Okay. Well, I mean, and they could change that, obviously.
They can.
Like,
All they
Scarlet
want.
Witch is supposed to be Scarlet Witch and Vision. So, like, the only caveat that I would have with a Wolverine TV series is that would you want first off, are you going to cast Wolverine in the movies? Which the answer is yes.
Yeah.
You are, because he's one of the most popular X-Men. You'd be stupid not to have him in those movies. I know that First Class, they were moving out of like Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, and they didn't want to deal with casting him. And the X-Men First Class series was unique.
Yeah.
To where, hey, let's not, like, we just had Wolverine, let's not do it. But, like, you're Disney. Give us Wolverine. Like, he needs to.
Well, that's the
be
thing.
in
It
there.
depends on how they want to play this whole streaming thing.
Yeah.
Do they want to have them bounce back and forth? Because they're kind of doing it with Loki and Scarlet Witch and Vision, unless they recast them and make it like a separate thing.
I will ask you this. Then.
Yeah.
How would you want to debut Wolverine? TV series or movie? I'm going movie.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
The TV series might be down the line,
Yeah.
but the first time we see Wolverine,
Probably would
I
probably
want
want
that
to
on
be
the
in a
silver
movie,
screen.
but like to actually explain a story instead of making another Wolverine like movie.
Yeah.
Let's do the TV series because then you have the options of also. I'm just gonna start bringing naming names of bringing in Sabretooth, Silver Fox, where is it? I have more names. Yukio, X-23. No, that was in the movie though, but potentially down the line. Mariko Yoshida and so many others that he was like in Weapon X program with, plus the Alpha Flight team, plus anyone else, because he's been in so many different teams that you can incorporate any of them into the stories and start introducing these other characters then.
Here's one that I'm going to throw out just to go a little bit different from Wolverine. The first thing I thought of, and this is me going with my base, like the way I'm going to describe it is this is my basic white girl answer. My basic bitch answer, House of M.
That'd be cool.
It's just like, to me, like that, like with the X-Men universe.
Yeah,
I feel like the TV series they could be used more for give me stories outside of the main timeline that we're in. So the movies will be the MCU, the main timeline. Give me stories outside of it, and one of them is that House of M storyline. With the whole like mutants kind of saying, hey, we're gonna fucking take over, man. Like, this is our time. We've got powers. You don't. Why are we bowing down to you and letting you regulate us? And then you can tie in Scarlet Witch to that if you want. You can have Magneto into that. But like, that is one storyline that I thought of. I'm like, oh, you could tell that in like a 6 to 8 episode season. And then you don't have to touch it in the movies. You don't have to be like, oh, let's do this in the movies. No, this is not a movie storyline. This is a Disney Plus TV storyline.
I'm trying to think of more. One I was thinking about is Nightcrawler.
Like his backstory?
His backstory, his time in the circus, and whatever else happened before that. I don't know a ton of his storyline, but I feel like it would be an interesting one.
Well, and like,
especially the whole circus thing.
And that, too, is like there are, like, just to look at it, there are so many characters that you could do. Like, another one that I thought about to go off of that, because
go ahead and say yours.
So I don't remember it might have been Days of Future Past. But I can't remember exactly which X-Men graphic novel it was. But Mark and I read an X-Men graphic novel for a graphic conversation, which is coming up end of April. You guys should check that out. But we read X-Men story, and in it, the thing with these X-Men graphic novels, especially Days of Future Past, I'll just say right now, my biggest negative with it was basically, hey, it was one issue on Days of Futures Past, and then like a bunch of like, oh man, we need 5 issues in here, and they just kind of hosh-poshed a bunch of stories. Like there was a Dante's Inferno story about Nightcrawler. Kind of weird. Didn't have anything to do with the other issues.
That's kind of weird.
But the one I remember reading had to do with Cyclops and Havoc in the future. And that's another thing. You could go into the future with the X-Men, where it was kind of like,
that's
what
true.
I remember about is like, it's kind of like a dystopia. Havoc was there. I believe Angel was also there. It might have been Volcon. But I know Havoc was a big, because I was like, oh man, like, I was looking at him, like, at the time I'm reading it, and I'm like, wait, what? I'm kind of lost. And then I looked into, like, oh, okay, this is Havoc. That's why he keeps bringing up Cyclops. But, like, you could tell that kind of a story, too, where it's like, hey, we're going to use, hell, it could be, hey, we're going to tell a story about Cable. What if we gave Cable his own TV series? And it's a 6-episode, 8-episode series, and each episode, maybe 2 if you need 2 to tell a full story, is just Cable jumping through time.
Yeah.
Jumping through time to fix stuff, basically being the time cop, the time police.
Didn't Bishop do the same thing as well, time jumping? You could almost do like a crossover thing with that.
Yeah. No, you could.
Honestly, you could start kind of cross-referencing all of them then that we've just mentioned.
Who's another one that you would hit up with? Because this is a lot of, like, there could be so many that you can choose from.
Another one I was thinking about, and that's the thing is, this would be more of casting a child actor or actress in this case.
Okay.
Storm.
Okay.
When she was a priestess goddess in her tribe. town, whatever.
Don't ask
it
me
was.
the exact name. I'm gonna
I
have to
don't
look it
either.
up. Okay.
Aurora Monroe, though.
Yeah, but when she was like before she became Storm. Is
yes,
what you're
exactly.
saying.
I think that would be kind of cool just to kind of see like people praising her as a goddess because we don't like. They didn't really know about the mutant thing.
Is most of these at first going to be just origin stories?
It kind of they are, yeah.
Because I feel like that's what we're kind of like leaning into, like Wolverine, like not Wolverine, but like, oh, here's an origin story about Nightcrawler. Here's an origin story about Storm. I'm trying to think.
Trying to think of side stories. I'm not having to.
If you wanted to go with like a romantic one, I guess you can go with like
Rogue and Gambit.
like a Bonnie and Clyde type of TV series. Like
Probably better than
Gambit
a one
and-
movie
Gambit and Rogue on the
Gamby.
run. Gamby and Rogue on the run.
Gamby.
And that could be if you're looking for like, and it also depends on what kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I lost it. What kind of tone you're looking to set
Yeah.
with each of these as well. Because each character can kind of, like I said, the Gambit Rogue can kind of fit your like, okay, we want more of like a rom-com type of feeling to this one, where maybe the Nightcrawler one is a little bit more horror aspect to it, a little bit more darker than
totally.
what you're used to. Maybe the Storm one too, a little bit more darker than you're used to. Also, it's Disney, so I don't know how dark
They'd be willing to go. Yeah.
they're going to get. Is there any ones that you're thinking we have not mentioned?
I'm trying to think
that
of
we
anyone
should?
that like could like make, and I'm trying to pull out some that could be like non-intro movies because I know like there's some a little bit with like Kitty Pryde and I know Colossus were in a relationship at one point. There might be something there, just like the Bonnie and Clyde thing. I know there's one where she gets also this alien dragon, or Mojo World.
You've thrown out Mojo quite a bit,
Yeah, I have this past year.
but like you've wanted to see him in the movies.
I do want to.
That's why.
Tell me you don't want to.
I mean, I'm not huge on Mojo like you are,
True, but I mean,
unless it's Mojo Jojo.
different Mojo.
Yeah, way different Mojo.
Different Mojo, my friend.
But also to end this, has nothing to do with X-Men. Totally forgot to mention this to you off the podcast, so I'll get your reaction on the podcast. I read this last night, and I know that you and I have talked about it before. Let me pull it up really quick. Do you remember the show Banana Splits?
Sounds familiar.
So it was a 1960s kid show. I only know about it because my dad really liked it. It had the song that was la la la.
Yeah, I remember
la,
Banana
la,
Splits
la,
now,
la.
yeah.
So
I see them.
they're making a Banana Splits movie. Do you want to hear the plot of this movie?
Sure.
So, according to Deadline, the film's plot focuses on a young boy named Harley who, along with his family, makes a special birthday trip to see a taping of the Banana Splits TV show. But when things take a strange turn, bodies begin piling up, and suddenly Harley's fun day at a TV studio transforms into something far more sinister. At the time of this writing, there's no word on whether the film will be set in the 60s or present day. In terms of cast, it'll star Danny Kind, Finlay Wojtek Hassan, Romeo Carreri, I hope I said that right, Steve Lung, Sarah Canny, and will be directed by the Danishka Enterhazy. Think of Banana Splits horror film.
So Banana Splits. God, I can't remember the name. Five Nights at Freddy.
Yes. Banana Splits. Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh God, why?
It just seems like
Why?
Why did this even come
Well,
up?
who thought of this?
Warner Bros. That's who it is. So this is what
It'd be great
According to Deadline,
if we
Banana Splits is on their way back once again in a completely different way. It's going to premiere this year via Warner Brothers Home Entertainment. Banana Splits will later debut on Sci-Fi. So the TV show's coming back too. Hey, we're bringing the TV show back. You want to know what we do? Let's do a horror movie.
Guys, Remember the banana splits? We should make that into a horror movie. Yeah, we got nothing else going on.
I mean, I saw that and I'm like, I have to let Johnny know about it because it was just one of those where it's like, I wouldn't have thought of that at all. Why is this a thing? But I guess it's happening. Any final thoughts before I move on?
Not anymore.
Well, this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below in the comment section, either about the banana splits or the X-Men TV series. Let us know what you guys are thinking.